read it. But more than that, who the heck is, come on, you can move, I know you can.
As Richard leans forward on
As
his
I
computer.
lean forward,
On-
yes. There we go.
And that's as you lean forward on your laptop computer that you just bought for $250, I think you said,
Yeah.
on Craigslist.
Well, that's the nice. This is nice, and I wrote an article. In fact, I think I got 2 out of that. My laptop died 2 weeks ago.
I know it did.
Just plain died. Wouldn't it? It came up and said press F1 or F10, and it wouldn't accept either. I plugged in an external keyboard. It wouldn't do anything. It's just toast. Nothing wrong with the hard drive. Nothing wrong with the display. Just something on the motherboard. Well, I went to Craigslist, and lo and behold, there's a guy that's got a compact V2000 there for sale for $2 1/4. And okay, well, I sent him some email and said, phone me. And meantime, I went out to Future Shop and I looked at all of the various laptops. I went to Costco and looked at what they had, and this laptop cost me $1,800 in
first one, yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
So it's 3 years old, $1,800. And I was looking at laptops that were $599, $699 that were head and shoulders above this one. Just amazing how much they've come down in price. And you know why they've come down in price so much? Because of Asus and the EEPC, which is what Mitch has got there. The netbooks have brought the price down so much. There's, oh, look at that. These little netbooks, they are basically, they're the
Small.
same technology that you've got in a cell phone, but with full-size laptop-size peripherals and a bigger battery. They're not very fast, but for a lot of people, they're exactly the kind of thing that they need. Well, most people, laptop, all they ever use it for is browsing the net and maybe
And
running,
email.
doing some word processing and email. They just never do anything else. Yes, you can go out and buy a, quote, laptop, or a portable computer is what I call it, that is the equivalent of your desktop computer. You'll never sit with it on your lap because you'll burn your lap. Okay, it's got the full Pentium or i5 or i7 processor in it, and it eats batteries, and you really need to plug it in all the time. It's got a huge screen on it, and it weighs 10 pounds or 15 pounds. But that's a replacement for a
Jane has one
Yeah.
like that.
but that's a desktop computer that you can lug from desktop to desktop.
Okay.
But for a lot of people, especially today, if you're going on a trip, luggage weight is everything. And not only luggage weight, but when you go across, especially the US border, if you've got anything in this PC that is in any way questionable or in any way private, you don't want it in the PC. You want to go with an absolutely virgin, nothing in it.
Open.
Nope.
Because they will download. They'll make a copy of everything in your PC.
Absolutely.
At the border.
And
They won't take the computer, but they make a copy of it.
They have been taking computers, and you'll get it back in 3 or 4 days. And at that time, they've got a copy of everything on your book. But the point is, most people all are interested in is just making sure that they can get into the email, and if they've got a
Access
corporate
back to the home
if they've got
computer.
a corporate network, they can run a virtual private network program on this. They can get back into the corporate network through the internet, and that's all they care about. All they really want is just something that works and that gives enough battery power that they don't run out on the aircraft.
And that thing runs for about 8 hours, doesn't
Yeah.
it, Joe?
Yep, and
Yeah,
if
these
I
are
had
great.
If I had the less powerful processor, it'd last for 11.
But
it's interesting. Yeah.
It
one.
was the netbooks and the One Laptop Per Child Foundation that was aiming at $100 laptop or $100
Well,
PC.
we did that back in 2011 or 2001. Remember?
2001, yeah.
Well,
Well,
when we were doing the show with the guy out in Maple Ridge.
but he was doing a thing where he was taking really minimal hardware.
Yeah.
And I mean really minimal. It was basically 8-bit stuff, but we're talking about the One Laptop Per Child is actually running a version of Linux. It's an operating system, but it's it was aimed at the $100 price point. I think they got it to 150. They never actually got it down to 100. But I've seen stuff. The Indians in Bombay in Mumbai they expect that they will
That's
have
the
a
same place,
10.
you know.
I know it's the same place. Well, I corrected myself because I'm so used to saying Bombay, and oh yeah, no, it's Mumbai now. But anyway, they're predicting that they will have a $10 laptop in the not too distant future. They figure they've got the quantities and the hardware
That's
to be able to do
it's
a
just hard. How
$10
can you
laptop.
make a $10 laptop?
Well, if you have everything on a single chip, okay, completely integrated single chip, and I mean RAM is so cheap. If you cut down on the things that you have to plug into it, there's really only one expensive component these days, and that's the battery.
Most expensive part.
The
you're
most
right.
expensive part is the battery.
Yeah.
No, the screens are cheap too. You know, but the point is that all of these little things that nibbled away at the laptop's cost have caused the price of a reasonable laptop to
go
come down by over
down.
$1,000.
Yeah. So why didn't you just buy a new one for $500 instead of a used one for $225?
Well, because the laptop manufacturers they still want to make some money. So you know
Yeah.
what they do?
No.
They go to software companies and they say, well, if you give us some money, we'll put some cellware on our desktop so that when the new new owner
Buys the
buys the
property.
computer and first starts it up, they've got all of these things up on their
That
desktop.
work for
like
30 days or something.
They work for 30 days or whatever, and chances are they'll buy some. Well, what is the first thing that I do when I get a new laptop? I spend a day taking all of that crap off. And so
Do you know what
having
he
the
did?
ability to go out and find an identical machine that I could take my hard drive out of my machine and simply plug it in and boot it saved me a day. I'd bill my time out at $600 a day. It saved me $600.
You got it. Makes sense to me.
This had one installed program on it.
Now, have you
Yeah,
got a
well,
mic on that people can hear?
Yep. You're going to have to turn the mic up when you talk about it.
Mitchell was just saying his netbook.
His
had
Asus
one-
EEPC came with one program installed, and that was Skype.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
what's interesting about that is that that's the program that he was using on that is what we're now using to broadcast this on.
That's right.
Ustream.
The Ustream.
And Mitchell.
But that's
pho-
not Skype.
No, I know that. Mitchell phoned me from his class at Capitol University and said, log on over here. And I logged on over there, and I was watching Mitchell's professor at Cap University give a lecture.
Yep.
And it was an interesting lecture, so I watched it for half an hour.
Hey, yeah.
Good-looking professor, too, by the way. but that
Ah,
was
well,
beside the point.
well. No, we could start rating teachers.
We could start rating teachers, yes. And I see that Chris Delaney has just
Yes,
come in.
he has. Chris,
So
how are you
we've
doing?
got
You want to
another-
come in and sit in on this and then and kind of get in there, or?
You want
Come on
a
and-
cup of glass of water or something as well?
That'd be awesome.
Okay, why don't
All right,
you
well,
run
Mitch-
and get him a glass of water?
and we're gonna
there,
finish
Nick,
up here.
somebody Get him a glass. Well, let's just finish here for a couple
Well,
of minutes. We'll bring Chris in.
We'll talk a bit more about the digital reg and some of the things. Again,
All
if
right.
you go back into what I've been writing recently, one of the things that kind of goes in with my interest in
Just
international
wander in,
trade and
walk through
privacy.
the
Walk
cameras,
through the cameras. Don't
have
worry
a
about it.
seat
Have a
there.
seat. Try not to trip over the wires and pull my
Fit
new
your-
laptop
fit your-
on the floor.
No, you got to
No,
get
you got to
in
sit.
close.
You got to
gotta
sit
get
in close to me. Otherwise, yeah, you got to sit in close.
so people can see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw John. I
And
saw.
if you reach behind you to your left there and grab the mic, it's on the drum there.
I saw an old Johnny Carson one today that I got with George Goebel, Dean Martin, and
Bring it
Bob
around
Hope,
on the other side there.
and Johnny Carson. and
It's got
oh,
a long
I think I saw
line.
that
Yeah.
one.
It's so funny. It's the one where he's a fighter pilot in Tulsa, teaching
Oh, I didn't see
bombing
that one.
pilots,
Yeah.
Oh,
teaching bomber pilots in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he must have done a good job because none of the Japanese attacked Tulsa. You know, he was talking about being a pilot in the World War II. It was